From the very first play, the Nittany Lions assume control and cap off a perfect September. They know it's not good enough.
Definitely feel like we've been playing pretty well so far, but I feel like we're not playing our best football yet.
Time to step up as they step back into a Big Ten schedule.
They may not have the star power up front, but their secondary is really, really talented.
4 wins and now ranked 4th in the country. Non-conference opponents are in the past. Indiana is the present concern with an eye towards the future. Nittany Game Week is ready for kickoff. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Nittany Game Week. I'm Andrew Kalissa alongside Coach Jay Paterno and Coach Tom Bradley. Thanks for joining us. Can't stay undefeated in October if you are not perfect in September. As expected, Penn State with a comfortable victory against Villanova. Anything about the win, though, surprised you guys?
Some of the things offensively stalled a little bit here and there. You know, they had the ball, they got the ball at midfield 5 times against Villanova, only got 7 points. You'd like to see an offense really put the knife in them and finish them in those drives.
Yeah, I thought the same thing just watching the game, you know, when they then the big plays, and of course they were getting with the big plays constantly, and it took a little bit away from the game, maybe what they really had planned, because when you score that quickly and that suddenly, it changed a little bit of your game plan.
They weren't too joyous after the game. The overall win streak for the Nittany Lions extends to 8 consecutive games. We may not score on the very first play from scrimmage, but we'll go strong start in our opening drive. Sean Clifford earned his first Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week award. We mentioned the long score on the first play. He also connects 4 TD scores of 83 yards, 52 and 23. 4 TDs, 401 yards in the air for Cliff. The big plays stake them to a lead and put some distance between themselves and the Wildcats.
Yeah, I think he came out, right, like you said, right off the bat. Villanova says, okay, we're going to go man-to-man out here, and he took advantage of it. And I don't think Villanova's got anybody that can cover Dotson one-on-one. But I think, you know, he mixed the ball around. The 83-yard touchdown pass is one every quarterback likes, where you throw it to the sideline and a guy goes 80 yards with the ball and you look like you have a big pass.
That makes it pretty easy. Career day in the stats department for Cliff. He's not happy, though, with the offensive unit's overall performance.
You can't just let a whole day slip away. And I thought that we did that Wednesday, and I think that it honestly reflected a lot in this game. We still won, but there's a lot of stuff that can be cleaned up. So.
And that's in reference to last Wednesday's practice. We'll talk more about their lack of a run game in a minute. The only other quarterback to throw for more than 400 yards in a game for Penn State, Christian Hackenberg with 454 against UCF in 2014 in Ireland. Clifford and the offense didn't have a ton of pressure to score because the defense was in control of this game, coaches.
You know, that's one of the things. The defense had him. It was one of those games. You get the big plays, you get the big scores, and it was a difficult day to put together what your real game plan was, but just by the way the flow of the game went.
Yeah, and I think defensively, one of the things that I was looking for is can they get pressure with 4 guys, and they had to blitz to get to Villanova's quarterback, which you really want to see them get there with 4 guys more often than they did.
Derek Tangelo thinks his pairing with Mustafer up front can cause some problems for the opponents.
You know, PJ, that's my dog. You know, he's like one of my inspirations. Just on how hard he works. You know, how he comes to work every day with a mindset that we got to get better. We got to do what we got to do. So just feeding off of him, you know, building chemistry with him, I definitely feel like has helped both of us a lot. Yeah, I definitely feel like we've been playing pretty well so far, but I feel like we're not playing our best football yet.
The interesting thing, when you have 2 big-time down guys, the things that it causes your defense or your offense is just, you don't know who you want to double. Who's the guy we want to focus on? You know, you go back, and I'm going back to my day at Penn State when you had Bruce Clark and Matt Millen. You know, who do you pick?
Yeah.
So that's a great problem to have, and one that the defense, where do you slide your protection? Who are you worried about? What matchup do you want? So that you get pushed inside. Plus push, a lot of times too with those guys, tips and overthrows. They help a lot too.
Hey, I think of Spice Adams and Jimmy Kennedy with 2 defensive tackles. They were able to change football games. Penn State improves to 4-0, never in danger in this game. However, by the tone of those post-game press conferences, which I mentioned, have to describe this as an unsatisfying victory, especially when you look at the issues with the ground attack.
No question. I mean, when you're playing Villanova and you get the field possession Penn State got, they've got to be able to take that ball and run downhill and put that thing away without having to rely on passing the ball so much.
Yeah, that's the one thing that I'm sure that they're disappointed in from Saturday. They probably want to get the run game started, but you got to take what they give you, and they gave them some. First play of the game, 0. You get them up over the top. You got to take that.
Take advantage when you can do it. Clifford admitted to some sloppiness in practice for the team. Coach Franklin said they would quickly get back to work after the Villanova victory.
To me, if we have the team that I think we do, they want that. They want us to coach them hard and make the corrections. Again, I don't want to do it after a win, but there's things that we got to get fixed and get fixed quick.
Yeah, you don't want to kill them after you bring home a W.
Well, if you're not happy with where they played, you give them 12 hours, then you get after them and you kill them, you coach them hard. And I think that's what they'll end up doing. And he alluded to that.
Absolutely. Bottom line is coach and the players know they need to play better to win the Big Ten. Time for Coach Bradley to hand out his scrap medal. We mentioned getting back into Big Ten play. Tom, you like the way the wideout steps up to help Jahan Dotson in the passing games in more ways than one.
Well, everybody focuses on Jahan. They know all about him. But Parker Washington, 5 catches, 148, 2 touchdowns. Hey, 30 yards a catch, come on. He got to get the award this week.
He's doing something right. Here he is. Just watch Parker Washington. Clifford, he's going to study. He knows that the matchup is coming. And this is just a bullet on this little skinny post. That's an easy pitch and catch for those guys right there. Still to come, our scouting report on the Hoosiers. They have 2 losses already. This is a good squad coming to Happy Valley. Coach Bradley and Coach Paterno show us what makes Indiana a dangerous opponent. You're watching Nittany Game Week.
Tom Bradley's Scrap Medal is sponsored by Team DUI, creating a safer and healthier environment for everyone in the Commonwealth.